Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the public forum of the 28th Hydrogen and Fuel Cells Europe exhibition here at the Hannovermesse 2022. This is the public forum, and therefore I would like to invite you all, the public, to take a seat here. The drinks are on the house, not unimportant, and the sound gets better the closer you are. So I can recommend the people in the back to pick one of these free seats over here. And that's important because I will be talking about a very interesting topic, hydrogen refueling technology and what comes next. I will be talking about this topic with Haskel, an Ingersoll Rand company, and then especially the Global Commercial Director, Hydrogen Systems. Can I get an applause for Mourad Yalaaoui, please? Mourad, welcome.
Welcome, thank you.
Alrighty. So, Haskel, Ingersoll Rand company. What's Haskel and what's Ingersoll Rand?
So we are a global gas flow and compression technology leader. And Haskel is our business that specializes essentially in hydrogen refueling technology and hydrogen refueling systems.
Okay, so Ingersoll Rand is about more than just hydrogen?
Yeah, absolutely. We supply all sorts of different compressors for different applications, ranging from oil and gas to wastewater treatment plants and other industrial applications. We're a $6 billion company, about 16,000 employees with a global footprint.
Okay, so quite big, and I happen to know also quite experienced, 70 years already in hydrogen, is that correct?
Absolutely. Haskel is a known name, in the hydrogen industry. We've been in the hydrogen industry for over 70 years, working with some key players, especially in the aerospace industry, such as SpaceX, NASA, Blue Origin, and others. We've started actually building hydrogen refueling stations about 10 years ago. And we're one of the first, we're a pioneer essentially here in Europe, having installed some of the first, hydrogen refueling stations, for example, in France and other European countries.
Okay, so pioneers, definitely the first then. And how's that going now? How many refueling stations has Haskel installed in Europe now, for instance?
About just over 200 stations globally. We're a global player, so obviously, essentially, right now, Europe and Australia and New Zealand being kind of the leaders in investing in the hydrogen refueling technology and infrastructure. But we are a global player, so our ambition is to really support the global hydrogen infrastructure worldwide. But essentially, in the short term, we see Europe and APAC as being the two key geo markets that will be closely followed by the Americas and the Middle East.
Truly a global company then. All right, we talked about this before, the Haskel brand. There's a few challenges that you identify in the industry, if I can say it like that. Few challenges that you want to focus on, and one of those was standardization and modularity. So why is this so important, and why is this such a challenge or opportunity, perhaps I should say, in the challenge in the industry for you?
Yeah, absolutely. The global community wants to scale up the hydrogen infrastructure worldwide, and we believe that to be able to do that, we've got to collectively standardize the way that the infrastructure is actually designed, built, installed, commissioned, and serviced. So, our aim is to collaborate with the different players of the industry to be able to come up with a standardized way of actually designing, building, installing, commissioning, and servicing the stations. And right now, we see that the market is very fragmented. Different players do different things. Customers have got different requirements. We've done a calculation, and I can tell you that right now there's over 10 to the power 19 combinations of stations based on the existing needs of clients in the market. With that number, that number has exponentially grown in the last couple of years, meaning that it's with the current global context with regards to the supply chain and what's going on in different geo markets, especially in China, we see standardization as being a key thing to be able to reduce, to be able to cost out and reduce lead times. So we are very keen to collaborate with the key players. We also believe that other companies that make stations are our partners, because in order to scale up this business, in this industry, we have to find creative ways of partnering. It could be consortiums, it could be, partnering on how to come up with the next standards that would apply. And we can already see a bunch of different governments, trying to increase regulation across, the design and installation of these stations.
Yeah, so we'll get into those partnerships in a bit. For now, I'm interested from a client perspective, one of your customers. What does this bring for them? This standardization, scalability, I can imagine. What else is there?
So there's three key things for our customers. The first thing is CapEx, so optimizing CapEx investments. So we have designed our stations in such a way that they are configurable, very much so like some computer manufacturers would be able to sell you a computer and you'll be able to configure the computer, and you don't have to kind of reinvent the wheel and re-engineer for every project. So we've been working on that for the last 10 years. And we strongly believe that this configuration allows reduce delivery lead times, cost out, allows us to enter into frame agreements and partnerships with our clients, driving volume, and therefore giving that visibility to our own supply chain, to our own suppliers. And the second thing is, I would say that our stations have been designed to be upgradable, which means that our clients could buy a certain design right now and upgrade it later on, very much so like when you buy a laptop, you could buy it with a 16 gig flash memory and then you add memory as you go. So that allows our customers to actually smooth their CapEx investment. So the second thing is we are a company that's very much focusing on how to always become more sustainable. So we are listed on the Dow Jones Sustainability Index, which means that essentially, we aim to make our stations more and more energy efficient. So it also means that from a CapEx point of view, we want our customers to realize that, they have to build what they need now and what they need for the future. And knowing that, we have our own compression and gas flow technology, valves, fittings, compressors, our technology. So it means that we can support our customers throughout the life cycle of the station, providing spares, doing all the maintenance and servicing of the station. Nobody would ever think of buying a car from somebody who's just buying a couple of components and starting to build them, to put them together for the first time, not having a single garage where to service the car. You wouldn't. Nobody would, right? So that's basically what we want to do with regards to CapEx. And we think that standardization, modularity, upgradability are the three key things, And then on the second hand, from an OpEx perspective, our aim is to really look at creative ways of reducing the total cost of ownership. And we see this, we see customers coming to us and saying, how much is the station? What is the lead time of the station? Or like, are you just talking about the station itself? Or are you talking about how much it's going to cost you throughout the life cycle of actually installing, commissioning, servicing the stations? So we've been looking at this, and how to increase the performance. And because we own the compression and the gas flow technology, we are investing a lot of money in starting to think about the next generation of stations, in terms of increasing the flow, increasing the capacity of the stations, making the stations intelligent stations with IoT, being able to do remote diagnostics, preventive maintenance, So that's what we're working on right now.
So both OPEX and CAPEX are taken care of, really.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions from the audience, perhaps? If anyone does have a question, please raise your hand. I will come find you with my microphone. Yes.
Hi, thanks for all the information. My question is more around, you said you already have over 200 stations distributed in Europe. So just curious to know, where are they? Like, what is the distribution across Europe? And secondly, are they light duty, heavy duty stations, or both in that essence? Yeah.
Right. Just to clarify, over 200 stations worldwide, not in Europe. Secondly, so we have structured our portfolio of products in such a way that we have the high-end, heavy-duty station, which is called the Geno station, that can deliver up to 2.5 tons of hydrogen a day. And then we have a kind of a mid-range products, the Nano Pro and the Nano, that can deliver up to 80 kilos a day. And then finally, we've come up with a new product that you have the privilege of getting to hear today, which is the Pico Range, that is more like for customers that want to do a demo and that don't want to invest a huge amount of money to develop a prototype or to run a small fleet of stations, essentially. So we have these kind of 3 product families, and then within those families, you can pick and choose the right variant that is suitable for your needs. And this is what I mean by standardization. Is right now we have too many different combinations. We have customers that come and ask for a refill time of 5 minutes. Some others want a refill time of 13 minutes. Some others want a refill time of 45 minutes. You have Toyota that wants the station to be T40. You have some other, clients that want something else. So I think that there really seriously needs to be some consolidation, done there to be able to consolidate the portfolio of product, right? So. So we have those heavy duty, typically heavy duty stations are suitable for large fleets, maybe mostly for trucks, buses, trains, that sort of thing. And right now we've been focused very much on, hydrogen as a gas. But we strongly believe that there is space for hydrogen in liquid form as well in mobility, maybe for certain specific applications. Probably we think the large aeroplanes, and things like that. So this is also, an area that we want to be part of, and that we're looking at building partnerships as well to be a key player in that area.
Changing from from projects more towards products, maybe I could say. Very interesting, and I would love to get a bit deeper into this. We're almost running out of time, and I had one final question for you. I know that you come from the oil and gas world, right? You only recently joined Haskel. So what is your personal commitment to this? If you walk around here and you see all these hydrogen companies, how is this? How do you look at this from your oil and gas perspective?
Yeah, to be honest with you, thank you for the question, because this reminds me of what the oil and gas industry went through almost 30 years ago, which was, very high cost at the beginning of the infrastructure, very little standardization, everybody doing their own thing, And we had to go through this. How do we standardize? How we drive cost out? How do we reduce lead time? How do we design for reliability, design for maintainability, design for serviceability, So we kind of, oil and gas went through all of that, And I think there's a lot of learnings, from what happened with oil and gas. Safety, operational safety is one. You all know what happened with oil and gas, And we had to wait until some major incidents happened, to actually come up with regulations and a way to standardize what we do. And I don't want that to happen, to the hydrogen, economy, So I think there's a lot of learnings with regards to that. And frankly, I think the COP21 and subsequent COPs, have shown that, not only hydrogen is good business, but it's the only way. I mean, decarbonizing is the only way. I'm not saying that hydrogen is the only way, but decarbonizing is the only way forward, So I think, like most people here, I want to be part of a community that looks at putting solution together, and scaling that up. And no company on earth, regardless of how big it is, would be able to do that alone. That's why for us, that's why we have decided to sell our own compression technology to people who are building stations. We could have said, no, we're not going to sell it to people who are competing with us. We have done so because we think that in order to lift up, this ecosystem, we have to find ways of smartly, collaborating,
So collaborations, that's what it's all about, and I think that's a good theme here. At this fair, at this exhibition, the place to create some good partnerships. I want to thank you, Mourad. Can I get an applause, please?
Thank you, guys.